Welcome to A Cyster and Her Mister, a podcast where we show you the real behind the scenes of how we balance the PCOS lifestyle in our marriage, gluten and dairy free. I'm Taline, your fellow sister and registered dietitian.
And I'm Sirak, husband, engineer, and PCOS personal trainer. We're gonna make PCOS a little less overwhelming and a lot more fun.
Cyster and Her Mister. What's up, sisters?
What's
Welcome
up, everybody?
To the podcast.
We're here. It's episode 2. Yes, we're back.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, guys, thank you for listening to episode 1. We really love the feedback. We appreciate all the good, great comments you guys gave us. And we're going to be going off now with our second episode. Taline, why don't you tell the sisters what we got going today?
So, of all the lovely messages I received from all my sisters, I have been receiving a lot of messages, especially now that it's the holidays. DMs on Instagram from sisters telling me how hard it is to go gluten and dairy free because of the lack of support in their households, whether it's from their families or their spouses or their friends. Husbands, yeah.
Boyfriends, girlfriends, anybody, like any close one, loved one, it's a hard time. It's very hard for them to understand, and, it feels like you're alone, right?
Yeah, sometimes when people don't understand something, they kind of get dismissive about it.
Or they don't believe it. They're like, no, that doesn't make sense, or it's nonsense. Well, we're going to dive deep into that and how you can deal with when you don't get that support and how you can find support in the right people and in the right places.
Exactly. And also how you can lean on yourself, especially in a situation like this where you're changing your diet. You don't necessarily have to change the people around you, just yourself. And so really focusing on that is going to help you get further on your PCOS journey.
Yeah. But beside that, we got a couple of other fun topics, like some news regarding PCOS health.
We're going to go over news about PCOS, why it's causing inflammation.
We're going to answer some DM questions that we got from last week and, really answer some popular questions. But first, let's talk about the great dinner that we threw this last weekend.
Oh my goodness.
So last weekend, we had a pretty chill weekend up until Sunday where we're like, let's invite some friends over. And
yeah, we decided to be adults and invite.
We've been adults. We've been married for 6 months now.
I know. We've been hosting a lot of dinner parties. Yeah. It's so fun.
Yeah,
I like it. And it really, you can really create a different type of relationship with your friends when you're in your own household because, I don't know, you light the candles, you make a nice dinner, and, instead of going out and doing, going to a bar or something, it's a lot more intimate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time for everybody, especially if you got the right food, the right atmosphere, ambiance. But obviously the most important thing is having the right friends over. Yeah. So luckily, we're good on that department. We have great friends, and they came over. Taline made a great appetizer. I mean, first of all, okay, you're going to someone's house. You want to have a nice dinner, a good time. When you go to that person's house, are you expecting bacon wrapped dates? Probably not, right?
Fresh out of the oven.
Taline had bacon wrapped dates on the table, ready for a person to eat it within 5 minutes. Put it in their mouth, taste it, dream it. Yes.
They're like, oh, what a nice apartment. Oh my God, bacon wrapped dates. Yeah.
Immediately.
You know what, though? Some of them had cheese in them, stuffed in them, and some of them didn't. And I just tried to make the dinner mostly gluten and dairy free, but also with an option of people who want cheese. So,
but the funny thing is, we're talking about it later. We're like, oh wow, we just had a fully gluten and dairy free dinner, and nobody even realized it.
Nobody
thought about it. We'll tell you guys what we had exactly, but literally nobody thought, oh wait, how come there's no bread or there's no this or that? It's because we had a complete dinner.
We didn't have any
with
bread.
Every essential food in there. Yeah. So what did we make? I mean, Taline made 90% of it. I did some of the stirring, maybe some of the salting.
The salting. He's my salt babe.
Wait, hold on. I did the meat.
Yes.
And the marination.
He marinated the meat. But the appetizers. So first I trick them into thinking that they're not having a gluten and dairy free meal. So I have a cheese platter out with gluten free crackers that you would think aren't gluten free. Anyways, and then I have the bacon wrapped dates. I know which ones have cheese in them, so me and my sister can eat it because she's gluten and dairy free now. and then like which ones do have cheese, and so they would pick from there.
Yeah.
And so that was fine. And then we sat down, and I had made ratatouille, you know, that cute Disney movie. I made that dish in that movie, that French dish with like the zucchini and the tomato sauce.
But but like I would say this time the tomato sauce was a little different. You know, like I really liked the tomato sauce this time. But
yeah,
the thing with ratatouille is you put so much work into it. It just never ends up being the talk of the table because everything else has more a excitingness to it. The ratatouille is like just zucchini, right?
Veggies and
so
spices.
Nobody respects it, but they put so much work went into it.
People respect it. It was beautiful. I put it on this cast iron, and like I put it in the center of the table. But I get it. It's not like this crazy thing, but it doesn't have to be crazy. Like people don't always want everything to be crazy.
It's just zucchini, to be honest.
Oh well.
Oh, look at this. Podcast amateur, already on episode 2. We have a phone call, ladies and gentlemen. I might just tell you I put my phone on silent and it is nowhere near me.
Okay.
Just talk about that. Okay, yeah.
So after the ratatouille, so I put that out, and then I had sauteed Brussels sprouts. Like everyone likes a crispy Brussels sprout. I put a little bit of pomegranate molasses on it, like instead of balsamic vinegar.
I didn't know this.
And it just slayed. Okay. I mean, I sauteed it and then I put it in the oven so it was extra crispy and burned. Oh, so good. And then I made Hasselback potatoes, which is so easy. You just slice, not all the way through. The russet potatoes are like a really good serving of carbs, I feel like, if you wanted to batch cook something for yourself for the week, like a carb for the week. I would make a bunch of russet potatoes because one is like a good serving
Brussels sprouts is a great fibrous food. You can just have
veggies.
Make a lot at a time for yourself, and it's delicious. Yeah. Just don't go overboard with the olive oil. You know, you don't have too much fat. But yeah,
fat's good.
No, I know. Obviously, no, fat's great, but like sometimes when you go to restaurants, put way too much olive oil because you want that nice flavor. But it also makes it like too soggy too at the same time.
I know, that's true. Some restaurants do that. And then we had some ribeye on the side. Sirag went ham on the grill.
Yeah. Well, we had a combination of ribeye for the people that wanted some, fat in their or more fat in their steaks, and we had some sirloins that were a little bit more lean. And they were great. I used a marination that had like a combination of garlic and some
olive oil, Worcestershire
sauce,
whatever,
salt,
Himalayan
salt. Yeah, I always mess it up.
Worcestershire.
And it turned out great.
People loved it, and I didn't take one photo of the freaking dinner table. I was so pissed at myself. Gets annoyed.
She does a great food, and she can't take a picture for her records.
I swear to God, like I just get distracted. You have all these guests there.
Well, it's good.
I showed you guys the process of me making it on my story, and then you can watch the recordings in the Cysterhood in the recipe section, but you can't see our dinner table because I was a fool.
It's all right. We'll have results for the other ones. It's all good.
I know. It's okay.
It was a great dinner. Yeah. We had a great time with the friends.
So anyways, I did tell one of our guests, Christina, I told her why I was gluten and dairy free because she asked, and she's like super open and accepting to these things. But I mean, I thought that I feel like every time I explain it to someone, I try to say it better so that it's not as confusing or like it doesn't throw them off, or I don't look like I don't know what I'm talking about. So I try to keep it simple, and I want to relay that to you guys because I'm sure over the holidays or just, whenever you're at a party or something and you're not eating everything and somebody asks you why you're not eating it.
Yeah, about PCOS.
You can say something, and if they really want to know details, you can talk about research. So, for example, there is research out there about gluten triggering this enzyme called zonulin in your stomach when you eat gluten. And that zonulin causes the lining of your stomach to loosen up, like the junctions that hold your stomach together loosens up, and causes bacteria and food particles to get into your system, your bloodstream, and cause inflammation.
Do you really want to explain that the first time to a person?
Not the first time, but honestly, she was so receptive to it and kept asking questions. So I wanted to explain it to her. And, when somebody is like, either receptive and super interested, or maybe they're like, that doesn't make any sense. Like there's, that's a fad. You can say this to them and then they can be like, you know what? Okay. Like I see you, So anyways, so once those junctions are loose in your stomach, you have chronic inflammation. That inflammation that gluten and dairy causes, I mean, you can cut to the chase. Like you cannot tell them the zonulin part. You can just say it causes inflammation. Mm-hmm. And that makes you more insulin resistant. And insulin's a hormone. And when your cells are insulin resistant, that hormone insulin is floating around in your bloodstream, triggering high testosterone and all of these other symptoms. So that's why the first line of approach that I try is going gluten and dairy free for at least a month.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I think this is a great topic to jump from to what we talked about earlier in the podcast is, explaining this to your loved ones and getting the support that you need and the support that you deserve from them when you're going through PCOS and the different symptoms. So I think first off, Talian, what you said right now is the reason you're going gluten and dairy free and why it has such a big impact on on PCOS. Like explaining what you just said to somebody is really difficult, especially the first or even the second time. Mm-hmm. And, like you just got to simplify it right away. Like even me, like when you tell me about it, you got to simplify it the first time, first tell them, like when I first, gluten and dairy for me is leading to inflammation. And causing these symptoms. That's kind of what PCOS is, like the basic picture for people like that. Yeah. And then obviously you want to dwell into the details and explain to them what it really entails, but
I mean that was a pretty in-depth explanation, and if you want to rewind and re-listen and try to reenact how you're going to say it to someone, you can do that, or you can just cut to the chase like you said and just be like, I have a lot of inflammation in my body and studies show that cutting out gluten and dairy is going to help with that. So I'm giving it a try. And for example, if you've done it for a while, you can say I've seen some great results. And people in my DMs are blowing it up because they are seeing great results. And I always post it in my stories. I don't even care if I'm annoying people. Like I'm going to post it every time.
Yeah. So in your experience, like what's your experience been with getting support for PCOS? In your journey from when you first got diagnosed to right now, did you always have support from your loved ones, or was it difficult getting it at first?
Of course, it's difficult explaining it at first. But my mom was really active in coming with me to go to naturopaths, and they were saying, these naturopathic doctors were all saying you need to start cutting out gluten and dairy. And my mom is like really involved in how we eat at home, like most Armenian moms, like you're an Armenian mom too. Mm-hmm. And so they cook all of our meals, and they really want to make like what we can eat, what we like, and nurture us and put healthy food on the table. And so she was like really involved, and she swapped out the bulgur and tabbouleh and put quinoa instead. And and then she always made like gluten-free pasta, and like everyone would eat it, or she would make two separate ones sometimes, depending. And
it's funny you say this because my mom was like is the opposite. When I tried to go keto for a while, I mean, I did it for 2 months, but she didn't understand what carbs really were, and like every time like she would try to substitute like rice, but like she would substitute it with something else, like a bready thing that would completely has even more carbs.
Oh my
so
goodness.
Like it's just like I just quit at some point. I was like, you know what, I just can't do this I can't explain to her every dinner and then argue with her. I'm like, I'll just not do keto until later in my life.
The first time I went to your house for dinner when we were dating, she was like really excited, and she made all of these things like şekerpare, like this Armenian dessert. She made it gluten-free,
full of sugar, like
just crazy. Anything that was carbs, she like turned it into gluten-free for me.
Basically bread-filled cheese. Think of that, stuff like that.
Well, no, that's not şekerpare. Şekerpare is the sweet, like cookies that are drenched in sugar.
Oh, I see.
But the bread filled with cheese, börek, this is like, I don't know what it would be considered what it can compare to in English, but that, like, you cannot make things with certain phyllo dough, like certain doughs. You cannot turn them into gluten-free. So I've had to give them up. And yeah, it was hard at first, like baklava and stuff like that. So delicious. But I mean, don't you think that like the pros outweigh the cons?
Oh, hell yeah. I can't even have those things anymore. I don't even have PCOS. Yet I hate sugar. So Talia knows this. I will not have anything with excess
vendetta
artificial sugar. Yeah, I think it's like the worst thing. Obviously, natural sugar, I totally understand, you know, like through fruit and other means, you know, you have to have sugar. But like chocolate, like you know, Snicker bars and Cokes and stuff like that, when I see people having it, I almost lose it.
This.
Like, I have to be respectful.
Yeah. I mean, people have the right to like,
of course,
have something if that makes them happy, but you have to think of the long term.
Yeah, the long term thing. So for you had support from your mom from the start. How about your dad or like your sister or people like that, when you dated people? Like, did you?
So my mom was super supportive. My sister too. My dad too. Sometimes he would tease me, but like whatever. He's just trying to make light of it, so I'm not taking it so seriously. And then
like green tea.
Actually, it's spearmint tea. We ran out of green tea. But in college, people were like, "Oh wow, you eat so healthy," and I'm just like, I'm just eating like chicken, rice, and vegetables like right now, or tacos. Like, this is not a big deal, you know, just because I'm not having pizza. This is regular. But instead of having, you know, gluten, you know, bread or something, I'm having rice, like whatever.
I mean, the funny thing is, even if you're eating gluten and dairy free, it doesn't mean you can't have a unhealthy diet, right?
Yeah.
People can still eat like a lot of bad stuff out there, but you still have to make selective decisions. Like, okay.
Yeah, even when you're gluten and dairy free.
Yeah. Avoid this, avoid that, just like anybody else. It's not that difficult to find something that's unhealthy for you that's gluten and dairy free. So
I know there's so many good like cookies and stuff out there, but yeah, and then that's just the bottomless pit of wasting money. So now you're buying all of these snacks and chips and blah blah blah, and like spending like $50 more at the grocery store than you need to.
Yeah, I mean, those bean chips that Tallene showed that on her IGTV on they're PCOS expensive. Weight loss. Well, one, they're a little expensive, like for what you're getting.
Yeah, they're chips. Yeah.
They're delicious and they're very nutritious, and like, I mean, when you eat them, you're getting something that's full of something. It's not Beans, an empty chip like what you get with protein. Corn chips, with like, you know, those Doritos or other stuff like that, you know, which are not good for you. But with these, it's full of beans and it's at least giving you protein and a little bit of carb, and it's something. But like, you can eat like 2-3 bags easily.
I know.
If you're me, because it's so freaking good, and you're like, for once, you're like, oh my god, I can eat something like a Dorito bag and not feel that bad about it, you know. But like, you can obviously get like couple thousand calories from just eating a couple bags of chips.
Not just that, like also just the money you spend on it. I realized like I bought like 3 or 4 bags once, and we finished it in a week. And I was like, I cannot buy 4 bags every single week. Yeah. We need to tone it down a notch.
It's not good to eat like after dinner. You know, one of the things that we try to do is like not have anything after dinner. You know, kind of.
Yeah, I try to get full off of dinner and then like. Have some tea afterwards.
Yeah. Just a tip for you guys, for you girls and everybody listening out there: try to not eat after dinner, because you want to let your stomach rest, digest, so you can have a better sleep, and just your whole metabolism and all of your insulin levels,
keeping your insulin levels,
hormones overnight will be balanced and won't be impacted by anything you eat before, because your body is not working hard to digest. Instead, it's repairing all the inflammation that your body's trying to reduce.
Yeah, exactly. You're giving yourself a break to regenerate your cells.
Yeah.
And also, eating at night, like if you have cravings, consider what you ate throughout the day. So maybe you didn't have enough carbs at lunch. Maybe you just had this light salad. And then, you're having this big dinner, which you're getting a surge of the insulin hormone that's going to store that big dinner for energy that you're going to burn the next day or so on. And if you had a light meal at lunch and then a huge dinner, you have like this huge influx of insulin. So even when you're done storing your dinner as into your cells, you still have insulin floating around. Yeah. And maybe that's why you're still craving a cookie after dinner. And you're like, oh, I just ate this huge dinner. Why do I want to eat more? That's why your insulin hormone.
And if you have to have something, obviously there are times where you're just so hungry that you just like, I have to have like just one bite or 2 bites. Have something that's not going to spike up your insulin. Don't have like a piece of bread or something like that. Nuts. Have, like nuts, something that's high fat content so your body can slowly digest it. It doesn't get a big impact for that moment or for those next couple of hours.
Yeah.
But let's not get we're getting a little off topic.
Enough of that topic.
It's talking about the support. So you got a lot of support from your family, which is great. It sounds like your sister, your dad, and your mom from the get-go were understanding. But obviously not everybody gets that.
Yeah.
I mean, is there something you would recommend? Like, let's say strictly for family members. What would you recommend for family members to explain to them or help them understand?
Yeah. I mean, there were people who were like naysayers, okay, that kind of made me feel bad or embarrassed for being gluten and dairy free. Like we would, for example, family friends, like we'd go out to dinner and I wouldn't get a lot of the fluffy, doughy, cheesy things that is in Armenian cuisine. And they'd be like, oh, she's so healthy. What is she doing? And I'm just like, leave me alone. Like, I'm fine. I'm full. Everything's okay. I'm just not eating one of these things.
Yeah, force this stuff in my mouth.
I swear to God. And so, but
that's a good example.
Yeah, they really do. Sometimes they just don't understand.
They take it like it's disrespect
and
almost.
Then it's a whole conversation. The entire table is talking about it. Yeah. And I'm just like, what happened? Like, get over this. I'm fine.
That would make me pretty frustrated.
Yeah. But like, you know what? Now I just like smile and nod and like laugh with them if they're, laughing about how healthy I am or whatever they're saying. And I just go with the flow because it's not going to like change my life. I'm not going to change my diet because of what they're saying or they're laughing at me. Mm-hmm. I'm happy and that's all that matters. And they don't get it. And I don't feel like explaining it at the dinner table. And so let's move on.
They're not there when you're at the doctor's office, or 2 when you're feeling bloated, or 3 when you have these side effects like acne or excess weight because of what you're eating. They're not there. They don't see what happens when you do certain things. They think, oh, we just have one bite of this sugary dessert that's full of freaking
gluten and dairy.
Yeah, plus it has 60 grams of sugar. How about that? Let's just freaking drench it with some. Just take it. Like
a lot of the desserts are drenched in syrup.
I can't do it.
Drenched. Baklava drenched.
Yeah.
Shaker powder
I've been yelled at for rejecting these things.
I know. And I'm just like,
I haven't had one in such a long time too.
If it's gluten and dairy free, I'll take a bite just to be like, thank you. Because I know that the impact.
That is Talian's thing. She will take a bite and put things back. I go in the pantry sometimes. I'm like, let me get a piece of, like dark chocolate that we have there whenever... I'm feeling a little tired or something.
It's true.
And I open the freaking jar, and there's a half-bitten chocolate almost every single time. And it's Tallinn, like a freaking rabbit, or maybe rat, one might say, goes in the goddamn pantry, grabs a chocolate,
sometimes
takes a bite.
The Trader Joe's chocolates? There's like 3 squares.
She'll take multiple bites of different chocolates.
I know.
She'll take one. Let me taste this dark chocolate. Oh, this one is 60%. Let me do this one. Oh, this one is 65% from this African country. Oh, let me try this.
Goodness.
It's like, come on.
That's my favorite thing to do is to nibble on all the different flavors.
Well, I don't know if I have a rat problem or if I just have a person who can't make up their mind.
I can't make up my mind, especially with the C's Candies chocolate. Like when we first moved into this apartment, people brought that as gifts, the C's Candies chocolate, and I cut them all in half.
I don't even remember having one.
Bit, like half
where were these C's Candies? Were you hiding them under the bed?
They're still in the pantry, and they're all sliced up and bit, and they're disgusting. I should just
How come I never had one?
You have. I've taken them out, and it's been 6 months. They're trash now.
Okay then. Well.
Anywho, so Rewind back to the dinner table where everyone's mocking you. Yeah, just stand your ground, smile, laugh, and move on. You have to be strong. There's a lot of things that are going to happen in your life, and people are going to talk, and they're not going to understand you. And every single time, you have to try your best to brush it off and do you, boo. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Pretty much. So we talked about support from family. Lastly, why don't we talk about support from your loved one? What
your
if
spouse?
Your boyfriend, your husband, your girlfriend, what if they are not understanding? What if, let's say from the first date, I mean, we talked about this in our introduction podcast.
Yeah.
Me and Talia on the first date, she told me about her gluten sensitivity and later on the dairy sensitivity and how it's connected to PCOS and so forth.
You were super understanding about it, and everything was fine starting from the first day.
We even had fun about it that evening.
Yeah.
I ordered some special drinks. I even talked about it with the waitress, and I asked about what's gluten free as far as drinks. So not everyone's gonna be like that. Let's be honest.
It's true. Especially if you've been with someone for so long and then you change your diet and they're like, what are you doing? That's such a fad. What are you doing? Maybe they're not accepting, or maybe they are because they've seen you struggle so much. But some people are just like,
let's say I take you to the movies and we're going to get popcorn and I want cheese on my popcorn. Do people get cheese on their popcorn?
Yeah, you can get like nacho powder, like something like that. You know how they flavor it?
Okay, whatever. Nacho? In this world, you can get cheese on your popcorn.
Okay.
And I want cheese on my popcorn. And you're like, I can't. Oh, yeah, butter. Perfect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, butter's dairy.
Yeah.
So, and I want butter in my popcorn. And you're like, Sirak, I can't have butter. It's going to, cause this and do that. And I will feel like this tomorrow.
And then the guy's like, ugh, get your shit together.
And then I'm going to be like, but I always have butter.
Then
the whole movie, I'm going to be like, there's no butter in my popcorn.
Oh my gosh. Here's what you do.
We're going to go home and you're going to sleep in the couch and I'm going to be in the bed.
No. But here's what you do. You say, oh, okay, you can get butter. I'm going to get myself a popcorn. I don't eat butter. It's dairy. That's it. Take responsibility for yourself. Don't even ask them to do it for you or help you out, whatever. If they step up to the plate and say, no, I just won't get butter, we'll share it. That's it. Yeah. Fine. If they don't, fine. But, you
obviously it's not your fault that you have PCOS. You didn't do something to get PCOS, but you kind of have to, take a little bit of, I'll just have my own popcorn, get your own, don't even worry about it.
That's it. I would
just kind of make it easy for them to understand at first.
I would go to restaurants with my friends and they would try to choose gluten and dairy free restaurants. They were so nice. But finally I was like, you guys stop. Like I can find something on any menu and make it gluten and dairy free.
Especially these days?
Yeah, anything. It could be a salad. It doesn't matter. I'm going out with my friends. Like I'm not here for like a crazy dining experience and I don't want to inconvenience people. So I just try to like make it work and make people forget that I'm even gluten and dairy free. And then they get used to it.
I almost forget it now.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the only time I ever think about it is if we're going to go into an Italian restaurant. Because I'm
it's hard. Like
Italian
pizzeria.
That's the only time where it comes to my mind. But almost every other time I'm like, I don't even doubt it. Maybe Chinese food or something like along those lines where I don't think, we'll be able to find something that's.
If my friends are like, let's get pizza, whatever. Or I'm going to meet them at they wouldn't say, let's get pizza because they know me. But I would go to the restaurant.
Pizza in Italy now. Oh, that's right. I'm a bougie boy. I went to Italy. I had my Naples pizza. That's all I can eat.
Crazy. No, I love pizza. I used to love pizza, but had to give it up. And if I was going to meet my friends at a place that only sells pizza, I wouldn't go hungry. I would just go, I'd have something like a beef jerky in my car or, before I leave the house, I'd make sure I'm not starving. And then I would just go chill with them, like have a glass of wine and act like that, or maybe order a salad and move on.
Yeah.
So it's one meal. It's not all of your meals. You're not going to be miserable forever. Like it's just one meal. Let it go.
So I think to recap, regarding the loved ones, I think you gotta going back to what we said earlier. Start simple, but also take responsibility for, just
yourself
and just get it for yourself. Let them
Mm-hmm.
have their own thing, and in the future maybe they'll consider just switching it up, and they're making it easier for you.
Exactly.
And you'll go from there. You heard Tallene, her friends later on, and me as well. Forget about it, and we just do our thing, and we just have fun.
Yeah.
So I think that pretty much does it for support. And I think you guys just try to find the people that will support you, and put yourself around people that would normally support you. And I think if you just
and if they don't, try to explain yourself to them, and if they don't accept it, then you know what, try not to talk about it with them, and then change the subject. That's it. Like this, totally. Everyone is not going to understand your PCOS lifestyle. This is all something for you. You're not doing it for someone else, and that's all that matters. So let's go over some of the DMs.
This is a fun topic right here. Okay, so Tanya already got the paper out. She's ready to read the questions and everything. So
I made an Instagram story, and I asked people, what are people saying to you when you tell them that you want to eat gluten and dairy free? Like, what are people's reactions, like in terms of negativity? And some of the top answers are things like, so I have like a top list here. You're eating nothing. Your life must be so boring. Okay. What would you say to that? If you're like, yeah, I'm gluten and dairy. You're eating nothing. What a boring life. Well, no, actually, there's a lot of delicious things that are gluten and dairy free.
So
that for an answer? Would you say that? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that one. I don't think people really know what you can eat, right?
Yeah, maybe they just don't know about gluten and dairy free.
Brussels sprouts.
Is that boring? Bacon wrapped dates? Is
homie.
That boring?
How about ribeye? How about filet mignon? How about let's go down the line. I mean, we don't eat this that much, but French fries, right? Baked potatoes, that's right, baked potato, sweet potatoes,
rice, curry chicken, yum,
white rice if you want to, brown rice,
tacos.
We got beans, rice,
beans, greens, tomatoes, potatoes, yams, ham. You name it.
Next, what's the next one that people say?
Okay, alternatives are too hard to find and too expensive. It's a waste of your money.
Okay,
it's
that
my
used
money.
to be true, and it's my money.
Okay, alternatives are too hard to find. Well, there's plenty of alternatives. You don't even need to buy alternatives.
That was like 10, 15 years ago when people didn't know what was happening.
Honestly, you don't even need to buy like gluten-free pasta. You don't. Like, you can just have rice. You can have potatoes. You don't have to even spend the extra dime on gluten-free items. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, for most things, yes. It is a little bit expensive sometimes, but like, again, it's your money. And it's not like it used to be before. It's a lot cheaper, and you can easily find it now.
Yeah. So then, let's see. One sister said, they say it's too hard, and I'm struggling to make different meals for everyone in my family. So some people have to cook for their kids, for their husband, for themselves. The kids eat differently. The husband eats differently. They want to eat gluten and dairy. That's hard.
I don't know about you personally, babe, but I feel like with this one, maybe you should just cook those things for those people. Let them eat what they would normally eat, and you just don't eat those things.
Sometimes. Right? Oh, you mean like cook them whatever they want and you don't eat it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to cook like 3 different meals, and sometimes you can't force them to eat what you're eating, but you can make certain things like taco night. We can all eat corn tortilla, or they could have flour and you can have corn. Choose meals that like won't affect them if you modify it for yourself.
I mean, you don't want to take away stuff where they're gonna be like, hey, where's all the bread, or where's the milk?
Let them have the bread.
What's this almond milk?
I know.
I don't think a lot of men
want to drink almond milk.
Yeah, I mean, or like at least they're not gonna understand it right away.
Yeah, it's true.
So
yeah,
next
tacos are a good example. You can make soups that are gluten and dairy free, stews. You can make like curried chicken with rice. This is one of my favorite meals. That's oftentimes gluten and dairy free if you find the right sauce. Yeah. So you can find something where like they can put cheese on it, but you don't, and it's still a great meal that everyone can share. All right. Just takes a few steps of planning before the meal.
All right, what's the next one?
You're not allergic to wheat and dairy. Stop being silly. It's just a fad. Okay, again, somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about.
There are fads. But you know, this is a lifestyle change.
You're trying.
You're not going to do this for 6 months to a year and then be like, okay, I'm good now. I'm going to go back to eating whatever the hell I want because everything is... No.
I know.
Lifestyle change.
You're trying to do something steps. Good for yourself.
Once you make the switches, you never even think about it.
Yeah. Once you get used to it, right?
Fad schmad.
A fad.
You know what's a fad? Like the Atkins diet, even the keto diet. A lot of these things are just fads. I mean, keto diet's great
for some people.
Yeah, for some people, but it's not meant to be something you do 24/7 for the rest of your life.
Yeah. It has its benefits.
I
mean, I don't like this. The fad. Like, come on, just let people do what they want to do. It's a fad because maybe it works for some people and everyone wants to try it and see if it works for them. That's why it's a fad or whatever. Anyways, they think I'm crazy and I'm overreacting. Okay. Well, I think they're crazy and they're overreacting.
Overreacting to what?
To food. Like, you're being so dramatic. Just eat it. It's pizza. We're all eating it. The next one, we grew up eating this stuff. What the heck does gluten and dairy have to do with your weight loss? Okay, again, not everyone gets it. Maybe they don't even want to learn. You can't talk to them about zonulin. Like, they just don't want to hear it. Fine, move on. It's all in your head, but you love food. What would you eat? ... Relatives think I'm
grass. I'm gonna eat grass.
Relatives think I'm too snobby for their food because I only eat what I bring to gatherings. Oh, that's interesting. Like, people take offense because you're not eating the food they made.
That can be a little annoying. It's like, oh, here comes Janet with her casserole and her Tupperware full of Brussels sprouts and asparagus and...
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
I could see how that's annoying. But...
What? Like, get over it. It's not your problem. But I guess, like, someone's hosting you and they're making this beautiful meal and they want you to enjoy it, and then
what I would recommend? I recommend just eat a lot before you go and, like, just try to nibble on whatever you can find over there.
That's gluten and dairy free.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to someone's house, it's appropriate to bring a dish if you want to.
Put a protein bar in your pocket, go to the bathroom, and eat it, and come out.
I've done that before. I have done that before. Nobody knew. It happened. Anyways, the solution to that, just be really nice and gracious about it and thank them and explain to them as many times as you have to. And that's it. I mean, and then walk away from it being like, okay, I did my best. And if they don't respect my decision, that's not my problem. That's it.
Sure.
So the next question I asked in my stories, I asked, what foods have gluten and dairy that you struggle to make PCOS friendly or give up? So I'm going to help you with these. So there's lasagna. You can make it with gluten-free pasta and dairy-free ricotta. Or, it's not going to taste the same. So this is something that you might have to just like...
True, but honestly, Trader Joe's has so many good gluten-free pastas.
Yeah.
That
they have lasagna
I love
style.
Even more than regular pasta. They taste so good. I'm not saying this for the podcast. I love them. I would rather have those ones, unless I'm in Italy, like
They're oftentimes higher in protein.
True. And more nutritious and better for your stomach.
True.
What else is there?
Pizza. They have gluten and dairy pizza out there.
Yeah, that's very available.
You're not going to be able to have Domino's. I mean, I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to have that delicious Domino's pizza.
Let's not have pizza
but
all the time.
But it's fine. There's so many other things you can have. Okay, stuffing for Thanksgiving. You can certainly use gluten-free bread for that and make your stuffing. Or like call the host and be like, hey, can I make this stuffing? And then there's fish and chips. Yeah, fish and chips, you can make it with gluten-free flour. It's not going to taste the same, but you can still make it with gluten-free flour. One time we made fried chicken with gluten-free flour for the cup for cup gluten-free flour. Remember at my parents' house when we were dating and we would have those cooking nights? You'd come over, we'd cook.
Oh,
That was
yeah. The Jamaican
amazing.
fried chicken, right?
Yeah,
We did it
yeah.
gluten-free. It was good, but I believe we made it, I think it was too moist.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. No,
No,
I
it was
had it
good, but it
like
was a
for
little too
days on
moist.
end.
It had to be like a little bit more dried up.
Fried up.
A little bit more dry and
Yeah.
crispy. It was a little
Wow, I have
moist.
to make that again.
But I remember that. That was great. That was a
That was
great
amazing.
dinner. I remember.
The recipe is in the
I remember
Cysterhood.
now.
Okay, so then we have rice and curry dishes. Definitely, rice is gluten-free. Lots of curries are gluten-free, dairy-free. Mac and cheese. There's a diet version of it.
Oh,
it's gluten and dairy
I
free.
love this mac and cheese.
It
it's
is
so good. At Whole Farts. I'm sorry. At Whole Foods.
It's gluten and dairy
so
free.
good.
Mm-mm.
I love it, guys. I highly recommend it. I think Amazon has it too. They sell like a packet or something. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can get like
I love mac and
boxes.
cheese, but obviously I avoid it because it's a little bit too much carbs and dairy. But this one, dairy free, gluten free. It's so good. You can.
It tastes like
it's a great supplement for any dinner. Obviously
on
with
the side.
for the side, just look into it.
Okay, and then yogurt snacks. Definitely, there's dairy-free yogurts like almond yogurt.
But just be
coconut.
careful with the flavored yogurts because a lot of those have sugar and they're just full of artificial flavors and stuff.
You can add your own berries on it and
try to look
get
for
the plain ones.
I think Greek yogurt is supposed to be good.
No, that's dairy.
That's right. That's dairy.
That's a common question.
Get the what was the brand? Kite Hill almond yogurt.
Yes.
I highly recommend. I use that to mix up with some Ezekiel crumbs for me, not for Talene.
Yeah, Ezekiel is also not gluten-free. A lot of people think it is.
But it's great for people who don't have gluten sensitivity because it's very low in the inflammatory compounds. Yes.
Okay, so that wraps up a lot of the questions that you guys had. I mean, not questions, but issues that you were venting to me on Instagram story and the meals that you were struggling with.
A lot of the comments that we got after the podcast last week, were a lot of these questions, a lot of these things you guys wanted us to answer.
So I just want to go through the wins, one of the best wins this week before we wrap this up. We're going to wrap it up on a positive note.
Yeah. So this sister, she did great this month. Taline's going to talk about everything she did, but this is, I would say, the sister of the week.
Sister. That's nice. Anika Zad. I just want to say...
Good job, Anika.
Woo! She messaged me. She said, I just wanted to say your tips and tricks have helped me so much. I enjoy being a part of the Cysterhood and reading your articles. My periods literally went back to normal 1 month after going gluten and dairy free, and I have baby hairs growing back in too. That's crazy.
Good.
I do still have some fallout, but it's much less than what it used to be. Thank you, Taline. Heart.
That is so good to hear.
That's
good
awesome.
Job, Anika. And we love to hear the steps she took and like the little wins she had just to get.
Every step is a win.
That must be such a good thing when you see those baby hairs coming out because
I know the ones on the side of your
hairline.
hairline.
Because I know exactly what she's talking about. Like not me personally, but I know Taline has told me in the past and stuff like.
It's amazing.
It's when you see that coming out, it's like this joy you get. And you never thought hair would give you joy like that.
It's so hard to get your hair to start growing back. And look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, other clients have told me this too. They get so excited. Hair is like a really sensitive subject. Yeah. So this is great. If you want to be featured in the wins, DM me, tell me how you're doing. And I'd love to talk about you too. You're all such an inspiration.
That's right, guys.
All right. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed these tangents we went on.
Yeah.
And I hope you step into the next dinner party with confidence and grace.
That's right, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is episode 2. Cyster and Her Mister. We're signing out. We'll see you guys next week.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come check out the Cysterhood. It's my monthly membership site where sisters just like you are learning how to move through the stages of PCOS. From stage 1, cold and alone at the doctor's office, to stage 5, nailing the PCOS lifestyle, gluten and dairy free. Get ready to finally feel in control of your body again.